Welcome back to Court Vision Plus, your number one destination for the hottest tennis drama, the most heartwarming moments, the most jaw-dropping upsets, and the kind of unfiltered, no-holds-barred coverage that you simply cannot find anywhere else on the internet. Yours is at like 107. The ultimate class act. Gauff silences the Dubai crowd, then does the unthinkable after crushing Alex Eala. First of all, welcome to the family if you're new here. Second, you chose the ideal video to come across, since what we are about to discuss today is actually one of the most talked about, emotionally charged, and surprisingly lovely moments of the whole 2026 tennis season thus far. People, we're only in February. Even though it is only February, the sport has already produced an unforgettable moment that will be recalled for years to come. Our destination is Dubai. When it comes to women's professional tennis, the Dubai Tennis Championships, a WTA 1000 event, consistently attracts the best. Taking place under the stars in one of the world's most glitzy cities, the stakes are as high as they get. Now, let me stop you in your tracks if you believe you already know what kind of story this is going to be, because it goes beyond tennis. This is a tale of culture, passion, and the spread of a sport that has too long been thought of as a game for the wealthy and powerful. This is the tale of a superstar who, despite having every reason to be irritated, dismissive, or to just accept the win and move on, decided to do something so totally out of the ordinary, so genuinely kind, and giving that even those who were rooting against her were left speechless. This is the tale of Alex, Coco Gauff, and the incident that rocked the tennis world. Since context is crucial and the path to this remarkable quarterfinal encounter was anything but easy, let's start at the beginning. First, let's discuss Coco Gauff. 21 years old. 4th place in the world. Grand Slam championed 2 times. Of the world's most well-known athletes. Not only in tennis or other sports, but also in general popular culture. Coco Gauff is the type of athlete that effortlessly dominates social media, sells out arenas, and bears the burden of a whole generation of tennis fans with poise that genuinely belies her age. However, even Coco had some severe battle wounds going into this Thursday afternoon quarterfinal in Dubai. Think back to a single round before. Coco Gauff will play Elise Mertens in round 3 on Wednesday. Mertens has more experience than most players and is a master at making the top seeds' lives unpleasant. And miserable is the perfect term because, in that match, Coco Gauff, the formidable, strong, and icy Coco Gauff that we all know and adore, was driven to the very edge of her fortitude. This is not going to be a tight game. We are not discussing a tense tiebreak or a close second set. We are discussing Coco Gauff, who is facing 3 match points. On 3 different instances, Mertens' campaign in Dubai would have finished before the semi-finals ever appeared if she had scored 1 more point. The message of elimination was displayed directly in front of her face 3 times by the tennis gods. Coco Gauff also tore it up, crumpled it, and flung it back 3 times. She lived. She fought her way through a contest that, by all reasonable standards, she ought to have lost. And she used her unwavering drive to accomplish it. You now have a better understanding of the mood as Thursday approaches. The question that was circulating throughout the tournament, on tennis social media, and on all sports talk shows that include the WTA, was straightforward. Has Coco Gauff given Mertens their all on the court? Does she run on fumes? Is it possible for her to maintain that level of intensity for 2 days in a row? Because it would not be pleasant to wait on the other side of the internet. Someone who had been completely appending Dubai for almost a week was waiting on the other side of the net. 20-year-old Filipino sensation Alex Eala is the 47th ranked person in the world. Additionally, a player was functioning on a level of love, support, and sheer emotional fuel that is nearly hard to measure in the context of this tournament, this city, and this specific crowd. For those who may not have been paying as much attention to Alex Eala's ascent as they ought to, let's discuss who she is. I promise you will want to know this narrative. Eala is a graduate of the Rafa Nadal Academy, where she was trained under the tutelage of one of the best players in tennis history. With each event she competes in, the outcomes of that elite development program become more evident and impressive. She has a competitive spirit that just won't concede defeat until the very last point is played, a forehand that produces terrifying pace, and court coverage that belies her very small stature. The thing about Alex Eala, though, that makes her story so special in 2026 is this. She plays more than simply tennis. She is a representation. She's a force. There are more than 110 million people living in the Philippines, a nation where sports are deeply ingrained in the culture. And while players from other countries dominated the world tennis scene for decades, Filipino tennis enthusiasts watched from the sidelines. Alex Eala, a young woman with the skill, work ethic, and competitive spirit to truly compete at the highest levels of professional tennis, then came along. And all of a sudden, those Filipino supporters had someone to cheer for, someone to believe in, and someone to raise their voices. And they did make noise. There is a renownedly sizable and active Filipino expat community in Dubai. Tens of thousands of Filipinos who have established their homes in the United Arab Emirates work extremely hard, are deeply proud of their ancestry, and were determined to take advantage of this chance to show up and fight for one of their own. In her first 3 games in Dubai, Eala defeated the seasoned Serena Cersei, defeated the highly rated Jasmine Paolini in a match that truly stunned the tennis establishment, and defeated Hailey Baptiste. There had never been a stadium atmosphere like the one at the Dubai Tennis Championships. We are discussing chanting. We are discussing flags. We are referring about the kind of well-organized, fervent, and exuberant noise that is more commonly found in boxing or football stadiums than on tennis courts. The audience wasn't merely applauding. They were acting. And Alex Eala was playing the best tennis of her life while consuming every ounce of that energy. The tennis community as a whole therefore leaned forward and paid attention when Gauff and Eala were placed on a collision course by the quarterfinal draw. This was a mismatch on paper. Against a player outside of the top 40, Coco Gauff, a multiple Grand Slam champion, is ranked in the top 5 worldwide. The odds were not in Eala's favor, and any unbiased analyst would conclude that Gauff should easily win this match based on the head-to-head statistics, the ranking differential, and the various levels of expertise on paper. However, tennis is not played on a court. Tennis is played in front of spectators whose emotions are running high. Additionally, logic was going to struggle mightily to make its presence known on this very day in this specific venue. It was a huge audience. As soon as the 2 players took the court, the excitement was evident. Alex Eala was met on one side by a wall of noise that was a combination of prayer, jubilation, and sheer willpower. There was an almost electric undercurrent of anticipation from everyone else when Coco Gauff entered what was clearly enemy territory, met with courteous applause from the small portion of the crowd that had come to support her. The tension, the possibilities, and the feeling that something remarkable was going to happen were all palpable. The match then started, and Coco Gauff went on to completely, thoroughly, and almost surgically destroy what the audience had been expecting for. That first set featured a performance that made you realize why Gauff is regarded as one of the world's best players. She wasn't only good. She was so domineering that there wasn't much space for disagreement or discussion. Her serve was hitting with brutal precision. Her movement was deliberate and fluid, and her ground strokes were reaching deep into the corners, cutting off Eala's angles before she could even consider taking use of them. Eala battled as usual, but this opening set's deficit was just too great. Coco Gauff took it all in. She didn't simply win the opening set. It was a shutout and a bagel. She won the match's opening 10 games in a row. An amazing run of play that exemplified the performance and golf levels in those early phases. Here, Alex Eala demonstrated to you why she is the player she is, why her ranking has been increasing, and why the tennis community should be closely observing her over the coming years. Down a set in multiple matches, performing in front of an audience that was beginning to grasp the harsh reality of the scoreboard but desperately wanted to believe. After much searching, Eala discovered something. She began using her ground strokes at a faster rate. Gauff had less time to set up since she began taking the ball earlier. And Eala pounced on the second delivery with the ferocity and fury of a player who flatly refuses to believe that the match is finished on the moments when Gauff's first serve let her down, which was admittedly not often. When the crowd realized this change, it exploded. Inside that stadium, the volume increased significantly. Chants appeared. They waved flags. There was the kind of thunderous applause that one might anticipate at a pivotal set tiebreak for each point that Eala won. 18-0 point throughout the second set of a match did the score line appear bleak. And you gave yourself permission to believe for a few wonderful moments. You allowed the story to take over. The home crowd, the ardent supporters, and the underdog. Was this going to be the night that everything changed? No, it wasn't. Because at her core, Coco Gauff is a heartless rival despite all the emotion, commotion, and drama surrounding her. She remained firm when the match called for it. She acted aggressively when the contest called for it. She weathered the passion of the audience, withstood Eala's late surge, and finished the game with the kind of clinical efficiency that champions are known for. 6-62. It was a decisive, all-encompassing victory. For the first time since 2023, Coco Gauff advanced to the Dubai semifinals, and she did it without ever appearing to be in music danger of losing. Then came the moment that, ever since the encore interview, has been the buzz of the tennis world. The moment a player approaches the microphone while still gasping from the game and likely still processing the adrenaline, and they have to think of something wise and kind to say in front of thousands of people who were, for the most part, actively supporting them. Just